Genshin Impact Irodori Festival, but there are more characters and events. I wanted to speculate on what other characters I would have wanted to see appear in the Irodori Festival, because I think it's personally one of the best events in the game, and the festival would be the most perfect opportunity to make the characters of the other nations meet and interact with each other. Maybe they could have joined by getting an invitation, or just being there as a tourist for fun. Before I start my list though, on what I would have wanted to see, I would just like to say that I'm already very satisfied with the contents of the festival, on how it showed a really good story and the fun interactions with the characters. In addition, I think it already has the right amount of people, and adding more might make it feel rushed and disproportionate. Now, let's actually begin with the video. First, I think it would be very interesting if Zhongli joined us in the festival. Since they were inviting cultural celebrities, I thought he would be perfect as one of their invited guests, because he probably knows the most about Liwei's culture, because he is their archon, and he would also know a lot about the culture of the other nations and their gods. Another very big reason on why I wanted him so much in the Irodori Festival was because Venti and Raiden were also there, and it could have led up to the three archons meeting each other. The three of them could have had a very interesting chat about the recent events, and I think it would be very entertaining if they had a debate about their ideals or something. They could also potentially provide a little insight on what actually happened in Conria. Maybe the traveler made them drunk, and that's how he found out. Anyways, I wanted him to join, and I think he should have been invited in the festival, but it's understandable on why he wasn't, because he isn't famous worldwide. Maybe Zhongli did get invited, but just declined the offer due to Venti also being there. Who knows? This was added last minute, but I randomly saw dialogue that could be referencing Zhongli, so maybe he did visit and just didn't appear in the story because he got arrested. Another thing I would have also liked to see in the festival was the return of Wein Trace. Since Theater Mechanicus made an appearance to introduce and demonstrate the Liyue game to Inazuma, I thought it would have been perfect if Wein Trace also made an appearance as a representative for the famous games of Mondstadt, and I think it would have made sense if they tried to introduce the game to Inazuma as well. They could also invite Wein Trace players like Gygax, or maybe even Diona, because I assume she would be very good at the game. With her joining the festival, we can give a buddy to Klee, and we can finally see her interact in-game with the other characters. Even though Wein Trace recently just got an event in 2.4, I definitely wouldn't mind playing it again, because I think it's just so fun, especially when you're playing with friends. The reason on why it might have not been included was because it isn't really well known anymore, well, at least not in young people, and adding both Theater Mechanicus and Wein Trace would be way too time consuming to the players, and if they do shorten the game like what they did in Theater Mechanicus, I don't think it would be as satisfying, and at that point, I would have rather it just did getting a dedicated event in a future patch. So yeah, I think Wein Trace could be a great addition, but if they try to limit the contents of it due to it being together with other more important events, I would just rather Hoyoverse not include it. Another character who I thought would be very interesting if they participated was Childe. He already visited Inazuma once, and if the festival just had started more earlier, I think there's a good chance of Childe accompanying us if he isn't busy with fighting other people. A big reason on why I wanted him to join us was because the story quest has a very big focus on Scara, and since both him and Childe are harbingers, I would assume he would provide some information regarding Scara's true motives. In addition to that, we could have learned the timeline of events about the other clans much faster and easier if Childe was there to tell the Balladeer's side of the story. He could be a great provider of information, but this is all assuming Childe even knows about these stuff about him, which may not be the case, but I could hope. Another one of my reasons that doesn't involve Scara on why I wanted him to join was I wanted to see on what he would be like in a situation where it's just purely fun, with no pressure at all. We only ever see him being a villain to the traveler, fighting people, and ruin guards, and being stuck in a dangerous dungeon. I think it would be nice if we just see him in a chill and normal event, like the Irodori Festival. I would also like to see on how he would interact with the other characters, because he has only interacted with very few people so far. I predict he would treat Childe like Tusser, and he would buy her all the toys and gadgets that she would show even the littlest interest in. If Childe replaced Yoimiya in the quest, I think he would buy the light novel that is definitely not for kids, as a gift for his siblings and for himself, and he would also gladly pay the lady 1 million mora if it means getting Childe's book printed. In Ido's quest, I think he would challenge them to a fight as a way to stop him from whatever they were doing, and at the end of it, the two would become the absolute best of friends and become brothers. Seeing him as one of Albedo's illustrations would also be very cool. I know I talked about Childe for way too long, but I just enjoy his character, and I think he would fit very well in this event. I added this last minute while editing too, but I forgot to mention that if he does show up in the festival, he would definitely not be allowed to participate and would be arrested for being a wanted criminal and all that. Inazuma has also had a very bad experience with the Harbingers, so even if the Traveler vouches for him, I don't think he would still be allowed. And finally, a character who I thought would end up getting an invitation as a guest would be Xin Yan. She has appeared in Inazuma before and has interacted with Sarah, so I wonder why she wasn't included. From what I know, she's a famous musician who visits the other nations, and I personally think she perfectly matches the description of a cultural celebrity like the Barnes. Maybe she did get an invitation, but couldn't go because she was busy performing somewhere else. If Xin Yan did go to the festival, I would want to see her interact with Childe and Yoimiya, because their personalities are very similar and complements each other. Her rock music could also be the substitute for Childe's want of fish blasting and Yoimiya's need for fireworks. We rarely see her in the game, and the Irodori Festival could have been one of those very rare occasions, but maybe they're just saving her to appear for Fontaine, where rock music was created. Lastly, I would just like to mention that I hope Venti and Raiden at least get a short interaction, even if Zhongli wasn't included yet, and I hope Ido and Childe gets an interaction too. Now I realize that I just want everyone to meet Childe. Note, don't take the things that I say in this video too seriously, and that this is all just speculation for fun. That is the end of the video. What things do you agree and disagree with? Comment down below. Thank you all so much for watching, subscribe, and like, if you haven't already. Bye.